Hello viewers, Marianne from Revealing Light Tarot. How are we all today, this evening, wherever you are in the world? I want to look at the Middle East, of course, and I want to look at how Trump is handling that situation. For those that haven't been following the news, who've decided to take a step back over the holiday period, a wise choice, I would say. What is occurring at the moment is in Iraq, the US embassy was stormed. America is sending an additional, I think, more than 750 odd troops into Iraq to secure that particular region. In the meantime, there appears to have been a tweeting war erupting between the President of the United States and the Iranian leader, the Ayatollah. So Trump has sent out a tweet. I mean, honestly, you start to realise, I'm just going to stop here for a moment, just how insane and absurd this is, the theatre of the absurd, that this world is when you've got a leader of the US sending out a tweet that says this isn't a warning, this is a threat to a country in the Middle East that has been really accumulating nuclear weaponry because the US pulled out of that nuclear treaty that prevented Iran from doing that. So in the meantime, we have a very, very volatile situation in the Middle East. And of course, in Iraq, it has been alleged that Iran is supporting that Iraqi insurgents. So the Ayatollah responded to Trump's tweet by saying, "You can't do anything." Okay. So this is the absurdity in which we are mere mortals living in our homes, going out to work, trying to live a normal life. This is the bigger picture world peace, world conflict environment that we live in. So let's have a look at, of course, it wouldn't be, I guess it wouldn't be so bad if this was just a play in a theatre, but it's not. It's actually real life, and so there is volatility, and there is a level of danger from potentially a war or some kind of military action being taken in the Middle East yet again. All right, so at this time, though, Russia is aligned with Iran and has a fairly strong presence now in Syria as well, along with Turkey. So show me the Middle East at the moment. Show me the Middle East at the moment. And of course, we have a strong alliance between Saudi Arabia and the US. Show me the Middle East at the moment. Show me the Middle East at the moment. There's I'm getting the image of ships in water. So the Gulf of Oman, of course, Russia and Iran were holding, and I think was China in there too, holding some kind of military training exercise in the waters. Show me the Middle East. Show me the Middle East. All right, let's have a look. So we've got battle weary, we've got fatigue, we've got, I mean, these wars, this unrest has been going on from the time immemorial. The Nine of Wands, also the need to stand one's ground and put barriers. This could even be the Iraqi embassy itself, putting those barriers around. The challenge is a lack of clarity, confusion. This is also the shadow side of things as well with this moon. This is also the card for Cancer. Cancer is all about feeling and emotions. So we've got, this having to put barriers up, being challenged by what is hidden, which is not really what I wanted to see in the card. So there is something hidden here, which of course we would associate with the Middle East, because that is how that environment thrives, on those hidden alliances and hidden actions, stealth, We'll just use the word stealth. All right, so I got to draw to a visual image of the water, boats in water. Okay, so there's high level of anxieties here with that Nine of Swords in the Middle East, despite the it being reduced to the theatre of the absurd with the tweeting. There is still a high level of anxiety, and I think that's coming from the American Department of Defense. I feel that Russia. We'll get to Russia in a minute. I feel that Russia has increased its hold, its strategic hold in the Middle East, and of course we've got Iran now becoming weaponized after America pulled out of that treaty. In the past, we've got the world here, beginnings and endings, but there was also a point, and I'm looking at that eagle there. There was also a point at which things could have been different. I feel that the election of Donald Trump did destabilise the Middle East. And here we go with the King of Pentacles, which is my card for Trump. Now, I could go so far as to suggest that my intuition in this tarot reading, which are my intuitive impressions only, that the actions of this president since gaining power had more to do with money and alliances than it had to do with everyone's best interests. So there have been decisions such as pulling out of that treaty, which everyone knew was the wrong thing to do with Iran, pulling out of troops out of Syria and allowing Russia and Turkey to take those footholds, allowing the bloodshed to continue. And what we have is a president tweeting out these lame tweets. This is not a warning. This is a threat. And the tweet to Russia and Turkey and Syria, Russia and Syria, to stop attacking Syrian people. Saying something like you shouldn't do that or don't do that. I mean, really and truly. Okay, so in the meantime, we've got this Queen of Wands. She is a movement happening. It's a political movement with this Queen of Wands. I see it in every political reading that I do. It's around changing governments. It's around a growing movement to get rid of this absurdity and to start to focus on things that are really actually really do help. We've got the Two of Wands. There is a crossroads. This came up in my 2020 reading, asking, what was occurring. We still had control over. But this is a plan in relation to Show Me the Middle East. There is money involved here. There is obviously rich oil reserves, trade routes, strategic and territorial control. We've got this plan here that matures in time, and it is all about, this is the Nine of Cups, wish fulfillment, smug merchant. I'm seeing money at the root of this reading. The hopes and the fears. We've got the Page of Pentacles again. Somebody being offered something for money. Less about peace, less about, I guess, what's best for the world, and more about, again, taking this territorial expansion. Now, the outcome card is the past, the Six of Cups, which is good. But it's also, because I'm not seeing war there, but it is also going back in time, a reunion with, a happier time. We've got rebalancing here, the Temperance card, and we've got the Magician card, actualizing things into reality. We've got Strength, we've got isolation, and we've got, again, this the Coin coming through. I'm feeling that Donald Trump is at the centre of this in some way, and I'm getting drawn in, even though I asked about the Middle East, I'm getting drawn into the secrets that he may be keeping around his alliances and why he chooses to do things. you know, you can say that he decided to pull out of the treaty, which monitored, managed, limited Iran's building up of its nuclear arsenal, because it was an Obama treaty, but that it was negotiated, began negotiations with the George Bush regime. So, you know, why did he do that? Why did he pull out of Syria in the way that he did? Why is he pulling out of Afghanistan? Of course, the beneficiary is always Russia. So let's have a look at what is occurring. So in the history of the world, we see those in power stoking the flames of conflict for their own benefit. I don't think this is any different. Let's have a look at show me Russia in the Middle East, and then I'll move on to the specific Iraq and follow up that image that I had of boats in the water. So let's have a look at Russia. Russia and Iran. Show me Russia. Show me Russia and Iran. Show me Russia in Middle East. I think it's Freudian slip. Show me Russia in Iran. There's a heavy alliance there for mutual benefit and gain. Show me Russia in the Middle East. Okay, so we have the Star of Hope. Now that's interesting, but the challenge here is the truth. Okay, so hope in the Middle East, challenged by something that needs to come forward, a truth that needs to come forward. Something is being hidden. We have this monetary situation again, loans and debts. Who's financing who? Who is trading with who? Giving and receiving help. Who is helping who? We've got communication, the Page of Wands, a plan, something that started as a page is not a king, so this is something that had to grow in time. We've got the Wheel of Fortune. Russia's fortunes are changing. Russia's fortunes are changing. They've everything to gain. With this Nine of Pentacles, independence, financial resources. Show me Russia in the Middle East. This is the spy in the camp, the Page of Swords, and so the Middle East is a strategic stronghold for Vladimir Putin, showing one's strength. Russia in the Middle East, the hopes and the fears. This is the World card, endings and beginnings. The World card in the hopes and fears position, so that the world will be able to. Where is the UN in all of this? I don't know. We don't hear from the UN. And in the fears position, the world's security at stake. Illusions, delusions, smoke screens. Here is our boat in the water, moving on. There could be some relocation of there is relocation of population in the Middle East at the moment, and we've got the bold leader. So I think that is Putin there. Russia is growing in influence. In its influence, we've got the Five of Pentacles, monetary loss and retreat. And we've got the Lover's card. That is Trump here, a plan that matures in time. I want to ask is, with this next question, so that reading is showing, the first reading, I should say, didn't show a breakout of war. It did show that that this reading does show that Vladimir Putin and Russia have everything to gain and are gaining a strong foothold in the Middle East. Let's ask the question that's on everybody's lips. In this theatre of absurd, this bizarre play that we appear to all be caught up in, let's ask: is Trump helping Putin achieve his aims in the Middle East? Is Trump helping Putin achieve his aims in the Middle East? Is Trump helping Putin achieve his aims in the Middle East? Is Trump helping Putin achieve his aims in the Middle East? Is Trump... I do feel this is about, conquering and power, and who is sitting in that on that throne. So what's jumped out is this is the card I would have expected to see had I thought that a skirmish or some sort of threat or launch of something, some kind of fighting breaking out. So we've got that Five of Wands. Let's keep going. And the challenge here is moving on. But again, these boats in water, relocation. Okay, relocation of populations. This is also about, in the Middle East, it's also about relocating populations. Now, that is coming through very strongly. That Six of Swords is validating that fighting has been designed to relocate specific populations. Why? The question is why? Why would that be? Okay, we've got the Queen of Swords. So this is some kind of truth needing to come forward in order to stabilise that reading. We've got Justice. And again, I keep coming back now to Trump's impeachment. This is all about Trump. Okay, Trump the Emperor. Okay, so how might he have aided Putin in the Middle East? By allowing Russia and Turkey in. There's something around relocating populations. And again, also, when populations relocate, it drives refugees into Europe and other countries. And of course, what that does is sow the seeds of nationalistic fervour and alt-right Nazi type of thinking and action, prejudice, racism, driving people across borders. This is how Trump is helping Putin. So we have the Queen of Cups here again. Every time I see this Trump assisting Putin's agenda, I see the Justice card, I see the impeachment, I see revelations coming out. And here's our past card, which came up in that first reading, Show Me the Middle East. There is something to do with the past here, Trump and Russia and the past. Okay, the environment around, though, is loss. Loss. And I feel this is loss for Trump. He hasn't been able to deliver everything that he undertook to deliver. Now, this is the Queen of Pentacles in the hopes and fears position. This is stability. This is also US, represents US internal national security as well. In the outcome card, we've got this juggling and manipulation, trying to keep these balls in the air. And here I'm being drawn again to ships in water. We've got the Trump organization here, dark money in politics, and we have this sort of truth. So at the base of the pack, we've got this insecurity around money. We've got the Two of Swords having to make a decision and the Ten of Wands. So I feel that this is telling me about the internal situation in the US at the moment with the impeachment of Donald Trump. So I have to say that what these three readings, these three pulls are telling me is that Trump and Russia are undertaking certain actions in the Middle East for a short and a long-term gain around territorial expansion, trade routes, but more so what's been coming up in this reading is the movement of population. So the lack of peace in the Middle East, somehow where populations relocate, is feeding an agenda of Russia's. And it appears that the Emperor, which can be both Trump, that is my card for Trump, but also Putin, is part of a longer range plan to, I have to say, destabilise the Western world again. All right, now, how does Iran and Iraq fit into all of this? Well, again, this is creating the environment for war. I'll just put it like that, for a war in the Middle East. And that's what I'm going to ask. Will Iran take some sort of action against. Now I'm seeing the boats in the waters, so whether that would be a missile strike, will Iran take some sort of action, military action against the US? Will Iran take some sort of military action against the US? Will Iran take some sort of military action against the US? Okay, okay, let's have a look. I'm not feeling a big pull toward that. Maybe I've asked the question I should have asked the question in the reverse. Judgment, something coming to an inevitable end. The challenge, though, is victory. Okay, so it looks like it looks like Iran wouldn't be successful. They're going to retreat. This is a retreat here. But it's also wounded in battle. We've got the monetary card here, giving and receiving help. This is, I feel, again, Russia in the frame in every way. We've got the King of Wands, dominance, leadership, and we've got things though coming forward very, very quickly. This is usually around communiques, so it could be a fight of words at this point. But here we've got this relocation of populations. We've got the High Priestess, again, something being hidden. There, with this Ace of Swords that keeps appearing, the High Priestess, Russia and Trump, there are things that are being hidden here. The hopes and the fears that we will get that peace offering, but the outcome card is the Hermit card, which is introspection, isolation. The Three of Pentacles, again, this dark money, this three working together behind the scenes, and something being stopped. So I don't think there is more likely Trump's opportunity to ride in on that white horse and smooth over these tensions, though we have defending oneself and we have death here. But I think this is more to do with Trump back in America, which keeps coming into the frame, despite my questions to the contrary. So the fact that his internal situation in the US keeps coming back into these Middle Eastern readings shows me that what occurs for Trump in America is vital to world peace. If he stays in office or whether he is removed in office, whether that be at the election or before, is actually vital to the world peace. Okay, so Iran can't. Iran would be stopped. Iran is not capable of fighting the US. But is the US capable of launching some kind of attack against Iran? Now, I saw the Knight of Cups, so I feel that this is Trump's opportunity to get on the world stage and broker some kind of deal with Iran. But let's have a look. Would the US launch some kind of strike against Iran? Would the US launch? Now I'm feeling yes, they would. Okay, so would the US launch some kind of strike against Iran? Okay. All right, so we have the Queen of Wands. Again, this plan, putting a plan into place. The challenge is the Page of Pentacles. So the plan might not be fully formed. The Hierophant, Congress. Okay, so Congress would have to. Now, I did read last year, I can say last year now, that Congress moved forward some kind of legislation which would prevent Trump withdrawing from NATO, but they also moved, so yes, that was the most recent legislation, but they also moved earlier on to stop him, to take away his authority to basically declare war because of this abuse of power. But we have the King of Wands. This could be the Congress itself. And we've got retreat. So I think that he would be stopped. Okay, so they're not going to allow him the codes to the nuclear missile, basically. because the environment around is the devil, this toxicity, this chain to doing Russia's bidding. Trump again being unfit in some way to govern. Perhaps being with this Six of Pentacles, perhaps being beholden to those that he has done business with. The King of Swords comes forward. This is somebody that wields that sword quite strongly. Let's do a clarifier. The Knight of Swords. Yes, I do feel that they could. They won't do anything though without congressional input. But I do feel this endings and beginnings. So yes, the US could take action against Iran. Underneath, at the base of the pack, we've got the Eight of Pentacles, working, achieving something. Here's our eight. We've got a lot of eights coming forward. The Eight of Rods, things coming forward fairly quickly, and we've got loss. But unfortunately, we have deception around a victory, and a plan that has been in place for a long time. And if I pull one more, we've got this illusions and delusions. So Iran won't take action against the US. US could take action against Iran. I don't see a large-scale war breaking out. That first reading didn't indicate that. I do see a lot of nefarious, hidden alliances and agendas which have nothing to do with maintaining peace and have nothing to do with keeping people in the Middle East, civilians, in their homes. There appears to be a deliberate strategy to relocate people, to put them on the move. Now, the boats in the waters, I just want to drill down quickly on that. We'll do just to see where that vision was. That could be a refugee movement, hopping into those boats and trying to head away from war. This all appears to be a calculated plan that possibly has been going on for a long time and is still going on. Now, three cards have just upended there, so I'm going to just have a look. So we've got the Knight of Pentacles, the mercenary. We've got commerce and expansion, opening up those trade routes, and we've got the Magician here, actualizing something into reality. Okay, so show me these boats in the water. What are these boats in the water, Spirit? Show me. So, okay, shipping lanes. What I'm feeling, and I have had this feeling in the back of my mind for a couple of days now with Russia and trade routes, and China and trade routes becoming more and more aggressive towards owning, controlling a particular trade route, an oceanic trade route, which would then, obviously be able to hold the world to some kind of a controlling things, the movement of ships. So let's show me the boats in the water, in the Gulf. Let's go to the Gulf of Oman. Would Iran and Russia try and control the Gulf of Oman? Would Russia and Iran try and control the Gulf of Oman? So yes, there is something around these shipping lanes in the Middle East. The movement is being challenged by this commerce and expansion. If I read in layers, it's also the population relocation, allowing for the resources to go, to be usurped, I guess. So we've got ships in the water, commerce and trade. So in some way, the remaking the Middle East is an agenda to assist in some way commerce and trade. Okay, so population movement is critical here. So we've got the Magician actualizing something into reality. We've got anxiety and worry for the people on the ground. We've got this emotions with this Ace of Cups. Again, water is very important in this particular plan that they have. Page of Cups, we've got news coming out as well, something to do. You could have some kind of news come out around these territorial waters. Yeah, we've got death here, and we've got the Ace of Swords, again, a truth coming forward, but also action being taken. And we've got the hopes and fears, the King of Swords. America in some way stands in the way of these water passages, trade routes. But we've got things coming forward very, very quickly. So I do feel, and the Tower, here we go. This is the card that I thought might come up. There could be action from Russia and Iran against ships in that Gulf of Oman. There's something around missiles, perhaps missiles coming over, being fired on ships. There is deception at the base of all this. We need to look more deeply than the news to understand the truth. We've got ending something, or ending someone, or ending someone's dominance, and then we've got the water here behind this person in order to gain a victory, and there will be some kind of standoff in defence of that. That could even be Saudi Arabia and America again, seeing this tension in the Gulf of Oman, with Russia actually actively supporting Iran this time, because we have this Tower card, which would suggest that the US may take some action towards Iran, but Iran, and aided by Russia, may retaliate to do within that Gulf of Oman to stop ships in some way, to cause tension and stop commerce and trade that are using those shipping routes. So for Russia and Iran, it's all about those shipping routes. It's all for Russia, it's all about moving populations out of areas. For America, it's all about removing a president that is not acting in your best interest. Now, that is my intuitive impression through tarot cards only. Make your own mind up. But one counsel is to look between the lines in relation to the Middle East to see the bigger picture. Thank you for tuning in, everyone.